despite Facebook's challenges with the government, a leaked audio tape is showing that Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg isn't afraid to perhaps go toe-to-toe with them, rallying his staff against the company's critics. Here he is speaking in leaded audio recordings published by The Verge.
It's just that breaking up these companies, whether it's Facebook or Google or Amazon, is not actually going to solve the issues. And, it doesn't make election interference less likely, it makes it more likely, because now the companies can't coordinate and work together.
Here with more, Bloomberg Technology's Kurt Wagner from San Francisco. Kurt, you sort of feel for a leader who's trying to be very upfront, open with their employees, and then it all gets leaked to the press. But it was most interesting, really, how he seemed to be saying, look, it's not going to be easy if Elizabeth Warren becomes president, but he thinks they can win any sort of legal challenge.
Yeah, and I mean, what did you kind of expect him to say, right? Obviously, if the person who is clamoring for your company to be broken up becomes the president, that's not going to be a super easy thing for you to deal with. But what I think we've seen is you're right. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg does these weekly with his staff and with the employees at Facebook. And the reason he does them is because normally and historically, these don't leak. So the fact that this does is probably not going to sit very well with him, even though he did kind of come out and point to it and say, here's an example of me talking to the company, kind of leaned into the idea. I imagine internally they're not super thrilled that this actually got out.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it got out, I think, says a little bit something. Elizabeth Warren did respond. She did tweet basically that she's not afraid to hold the big tech companies accountable. She mentioned Facebook, Google, and Amazon, and put hashtag break up big tech. We know that all these tech companies are going to be hauled before Congress over the next few months. Sheryl Sandberg's going up later this month, I believe, to talk about Libra. Having something like this leak out ahead of this can't be sort of a good setup for them, can it?
No, but at the same time, I don't think that Mark Zuckerberg said anything here that he's going to regret. And actually, a lot of the things he said are things he's already said. For example, the idea that breaking up Facebook isn't going to solve all of the company's biggest problems. There was a kind of a jab at Twitter in there. The reason he says Facebook can do this better than Twitter can is Facebook has more resources than Twitter. And people kind of laughed at that, but it's true. And so, it's not ideal, mostly because it makes Facebook look like employees maybe are a little disgruntled or that they don't have control over what is being said internally and then shared externally. At the same time, I don't think anything that Mark Zuckerberg said here is really damaging or even off message from what Facebook would want him to say.